Hi, today I'm going to talk about what happens in our bodies when we feel stressed or when we feel nervous before a performance, and I'll also walk you through a very simple technique that can help you feel more relaxed before going on stage or before giving a presentation or just before some kind of important event. So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about the autonomic nervous system. This nervous system is automatic and it's responsible for such bodily functions as digestion or our heart rate. So as you might have already guessed, we don't really need to tell our body when and how to digest food or when and how to regulate our heart rate. Our body decides it for itself and it does it automatically. So this nervous system has two main divisions. The first one is the sympathetic nervous system. It's also called the fight or flight response. And this nervous system is used whenever we feel stressed, whenever we feel nervous, whenever we are experiencing some kind of threat. For example, when we need to escape an attacker or we need to fight something. So what happens then? Our heart rate goes up, and some of our other bodily functions which are not so necessary at that point, they are turned off. For example, our digestion. So some people might experience a little bit of sickness or nausea when they feel stressed, and that's absolutely normal because when you are stressed, when you feel nervous, some bodily functions that are not so important at that point are switched off because our bodies are saving energy for those bodily functions that we really need at that point. For example, running quickly or reacting quickly to danger. And then the second division of the autonomic nervous system is the parasympathetic nervous system. It's also called rest and digest response. And this nervous system is used when we feel relaxed, when there's nothing to worry about, when we are not stressed at all, when everything is fine. And of course, the sympathetic nervous system can be very useful in certain situations. But when we need to go on stage or when we need to perform some kind of presentation in front of a lot of people, it might not be so useful because we don't really want our heart to be beating so fast, and we don't really need to fight at that point. So there are some simple ways to tell our bodies that everything is fine, there's nothing to worry about. And once our bodies know that everything is fine, they can switch back to the parasympathetic nervous system, so to the rest and digest response. And one of the most simple ways to make that switch is by using deep breathing. And you might have heard about it, that just breathe deeply and you'll feel better. And in a way it's true, but it's also very important to understand how this works and why it's important to breathe deeply when we want to feel a little bit more relaxed. So, first of all, you might have noticed that whenever we are stressed, our breathing becomes much more shallow. We often breathe in deeply, but then our breath out is very short. So this is actually, when we do this, we are sending a signal to our bodies that there's something to be stressed about. Whereas when we feel relaxed, our breathing is much more relaxed. We are not breathing so quickly. And one simple way to tell our bodies that everything is fine and let's switch that parasympathetic nervous system back on is by making our out breath longer than our in breath. Because it's the out breath, the long out breath, that sends that signal of calmness and relaxation to our bodies. And a simple technique that I use is 4-4-8 technique. So I breathe in and count up to 4 while breathing in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I hold it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I breathe out for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's, as you can see, that out breath is twice as long as the in breath. And this is exactly how we can send that signal to our bodies that everything is fine, there's nothing to worry about. We can switch that parasympathetic nervous system back on. So I suggest for you to practice this technique not just when you are stressed and not just before going on stage, but also when you feel relaxed. Because the better you get at performing this technique when you feel relaxed, the easier it will be for you to perform it when you feel stressed. So practice it when you're just relaxing on the couch or when you're walking outside, and then it'll be much easier for you to perform it before going on stage, before giving a presentation, or any kind of important event.